I'm a computer engineer, software engineer. But I went to school a long time. I took all sociology and anthropology I could before you had to major and take any more. So I just took a lot of it. I liked it a lot. So
That's very cool.
yeah, I found it very interesting because coming from Ohio to California was a big surprise. The different changes, and it was real different. So it was just interesting. Which reminds me, the other thing, one of the changes that people don't mention very often is the computer revolution.
Oh, right.
And that's not mentioned a lot of times. People talk about because it's quieter, I think.
But it's definitely huge. Like today,
It's quite frankly, it's bigger than all of them. Because I go way back before anybody had computers at home. I remember working, and Apple came out with a little bite computer, so like maybe a couple hundred of them at the local store. Why didn't I want a computer at home? So why? I didn't want and nobody could, I don't know, just because it's fun to have. What are you going to do with the computer at your house? And of course it gradually changed, and then back then it was IBM and CT, only big frame computers, and everybody else had nothing. And DEC, the many computers and the smaller computers, pretty soon they started doing fun things. You could write letters. But it's so amazing to me. I remember 40, 50 years ago, you could ask 100 people, why do you want a computer at home? And I don't think you get one answer, good answer. Now everybody's got to have one.
Yeah.
It's completely changed.
Our lives revolve around like technology right now.
Yeah, it's the communications. And we all connect and get so much information now, so much more conveniently.
Right.
It's a silicon. It's a transistor. It goes back to all the way back to Schottky, the transistor.
Right.
I remember when that was first developed at Stanford. What he came up with was the basic transistor, which is a diode, which is really a circuit, one-way conductor. It conducts one way, not the other. What's good if something conducts one way, but not the other way? What's the point of that? There's a few uses here and there, and then you added a third element, even transistor, and then pretty soon we started having all these small little radios and smaller and smaller computers, and that's one of the most amazing thing I'll ever experience in my life, because I went through the whole thing. I go back to vacuum tubes. When I started, we didn't have transistors. The trend didn't exist. There was no silicon anywhere. Silicon was just a rock. There was no silicon. I was an amateur radio operator when I was about 10. There was no silicon. It was all vacuum tubes. Nothing.
Did you have to change like the vacuum tubes often? Like,
did I change? Yeah, we changed. They could burn out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a heater. Much less the wire get hot, so the electrons can bubble off, but that would eventually kind of burn out.
Mm-hmm.
So they would eventually burn out. A little bit like a light bulb.
Yeah.
It really was.
Mm-hmm.
The basic cathode had to be hot. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. So I mean, I go back that far. I mean, I go back when I was born before they invented the first silicon device. See, so that's by far the most amazing thing I'll ever experience in my life. Is that whole evolution?
Mm-hmm.
Just because the implications are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading as a kid about the great library at Alexandria in Egypt. It was just it was a history lesson. Now Google is probably a couple 100 million times more powerful right at your house.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, think of the difference. I mean, now you have information that it's unbelievable what's available to it. It literally, well, it's beyond our imagination now. It's got its own life. But like I said, I go back where if you want to learn something, you have to go to the library and get a book. I go home and type in some things, and I get a whole bunch of information. I'm learning drawing. I can get a bunch of YouTube lessons right online. So it's that communication and the information. I think it's the biggest thing. It may be the biggest thing in human history, possibly. I don't know. Probably will be, because of the communications, everything it leads to, all the other stuff it leads to. The information handling. But yeah, I went through that. That's my monumental, colossal change. It'll make everything else happen. Countries communicating more because they're closer, because they can be. We can email somebody anywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Television. I used to think television was the big revolution because you could see things all over the world. But more and more now people can talk all over the world. We can film. I can film something and send to my friend in Ireland. You know, I mean, it's like we're getting so close, so tight now. That's why I think a lot of the prejudices and things like that just have to go away, because you can't. We're going to be one big family finally, and I think the computer is the cause of that.